Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to the Sky's Limit Aviation channel and the Sunday evening live stream. Today we are heading down to Cold Bay from Anchorage. And we are Alpha Echo Romeo 65, which is Alaska Cargo Express. And we're flying down in the Embraer 120 Brasilia this afternoon. So glad you can join us for the live stream today. Just getting things set up around here. About ready to go ahead and get see. 6 passengers and a little bit of cargo. So I hope everybody's having a good day today and hope everybody's had a good weekend.
Crew bus is coming.
So today's flight should tick in at just a little bit under 2 hours. 16,000 feet is going to be our altitude for the flight. Don't have any ATC today, so we're going to be Unicom all the way unless Anchorage Center happens to come online. In Alaska, it's still relatively early in the day compared to out here on the East Coast, where it is 5:30 in the afternoon. So I never heard of Alaska Cargo Express. They're a subsidiary of Alaska Airlines.
Passengers bus is coming.
Pretty interesting thing to learn today. Go ahead and jump back here in the cockpit. Getting things all set up. We already have our flight plan programmed into the FMC. And we are good to go. Oh, well, there we go. All right, that's pretty interesting. 6 of 6 passengers already on board, and they're just going to walk through the cockpit window. I love GSX. Oh, my goodness. All right, final altitude's going to be 16.
Anchorage traffic, November 115, Papa Whiskey, taxiing runway 7 left from the FBO via Echo Kilo, cross runway 7 right at Echo.
Yeah, let's see. Filed our flight plan, and we have an auto ATC telling us to squawk 4217. 74217 in the box. Squawk ident. Passengers are on board. Cargo is still waiting on the cargo. Where is our cargo? Probably coming from a crazy distance away. There comes our cargo screaming down the taxiway. So again, I hope everybody's having a really good afternoon today. So we'll be departing off of runway 7 left, and we're over here at the general aviation ramp, which overlooks Lake Hood. And we'll taxi over to 7 left via Victor, Romeo, and Kilo, and crossing runway 33. So relatively short taxi. And I hear the cargo van, or the luggage and a little bit of cargo coming in as well. So it's going to be a somewhat scenic route heading down the straits, or the Aleutian Peninsula. So depart off of 7 left, and it'll be a right turn to get on the departure. And there's not really a published departure per se. It'd just be a right turn out of the right turn after takeoff on course. Go ahead and button up the cargo door. Close up the main exit.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Another beautiful afternoon for flying in Alaska. Excuse me.
Anchorage traffic, number 115 Papa Whiskey, departing runway 7 left, departure to the north, Anchorage.
And our call sign is going to be ACE65, Alaska Cargo Express.
Locking gear.
And we'll take the nose to the right, tail to the left.
Release parking brakes, please.
Okay, parking brakes are released.
All engines clear. Start at will.
And starting engine number 1, then engine number 2.
Anchorage traffic, number 115 Papa Whiskey, clear runway 7 left, left turn 360, final call Anchorage.
Please set parking brakes. Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Parking brakes are set.
Cockpit to ground. Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear. Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear. Right is clear.
Alright, taxi lights on, beacon on, de-ice, P-top heat on. Alright, getting a friendly wave off from the ground guy. We are ready to taxi. Go ahead, start our A cars. More things set up here. All right, we are ready to taxi. Anchorage traffic, Alaska Cargo Express 65 is over on General Aviation ramp, taxiing to runway 7 left via Victor Romeo Kilo, crossing runway 33, Anchorage traffic. Brakes off. right turn on Romeo. Or excuse me, right turn at Kilo.
Anchorage traffic, Pacific Northwest 1489 is 22 miles to the southeast of the airport, descending by the Woody for arrival, expecting the ILS runway 07 left via, the Whoopsie transition, Anchorage.
Takeoff speeds V195, VR100, V2, 110. Crossing runway 33. All right, before takeoff checklist. Passengers are snug and seat belted in. Flaps are set. We have our takeoff data. Landing lights on, taxi lights off, strobes on. Radios, navigation, heading, all check. Going to be runway heading 74 degrees and then a right turn. Right turned on a heading of 150 to get started. Anchorage traffic, Alaska Cargo Express 65 departing runway 7 left. Departure to the west, Anchorage traffic.
Anchorage traffic, Pacific Northwest 1489 on a right downwind for the ILS 07 left, Anchorage.
80 knots.
80 knots, check.
V1. Rotate. V2.
Positive rate, gears coming up. Flaps coming up. God damn nerve.
Terrain. Don't sink. 200. Terrain. 1,000.
Anchorage traffic, Pacific Northwest 1489, now turning final, runway 07 left. Anchorage.
Beautiful day, clouds reflecting off the water below us. Got a cruise ship there off in the distance. Hopefully I should be able to see that Pacific air traffic off in the distance as he arrives into Anchorage. He should be just almost passing this island right over here. Not sure though. He may already be on the ground. And slow, steady climb up to 16,000, just passing through 6.
Anchorage traffic, northbound 1489 is clear. 07 left, expecting by Kilo, Echo to the gate. Anchorage.
Yeah, passing through 8,500 for 16,000. Everything looking good. And passing through 10,000 feet, landing lights coming off. So once again, if you're just joining the live stream, good afternoon. My name is Michael, better known as Sky's the Limit. This is the Sky's the Limit Aviation channel. Just departed Anchorage, Alaska, Ted Stevens International Airport, heading down to Cold Bay. Papa Echo Charlie November. Or excuse me, Papa Alpha Charlie Delta I'm thinking of an entirely different airport that probably doesn't even exist. I think I need some coffee, probably. Anyways, new airline for me to fly, and one that I didn't know about until I was going over the trip, but it's Alaska Cargo Express. They're a little passenger and cargo outfit that flies out of Anchorage. Kind of part of the Alaska Airlines group, I believe. And heading down there today, about 2-hour flight. 16,000 feet will be our final altitude once we get it up there, just passing through 14,000, so 2,000 more to go. And just passed over the Echo November Alpha VOR, heading to Tux, Tango Uniform Charlie Kilo Sierra. It's our next waypoint. Passed it through 15,000 feet, 1,000 to go. And once we get into Cold Bay, it's going to be the runway 15 approach. And we are now level at 16,000 feet. Hey Frank, good afternoon, sir. How art thou this fine Sunday afternoon? Oh, I hear you. I never look forward to going back to work either, even though I technically work from home. But having a great day. Figured I'd hop on and do a live stream this afternoon. We're heading down to Cold Bay, Alaska. From Anchorage. It's Alaska Cargo Express. Yeah, something a little different than Delta. Could not find a Freeware Beechcraft 1900, so I got a Embraer 120 Brasilia, which is kind of the equivalent. I don't know that I've flown on one before either. I've been on a few ATRs back in the day, but not one of these little turboprop jobs. Just cruising along, admiring the beautiful scenery of Alaska. This is the first time I've looked at this is the first time that I've got a good look at the Alaska scenery with the Orbix add-ons, so looking pretty righteous to me. Now, Alaska is a mountainous monster. I've flown over many times during my time in the military and civilian travel. Anchorage is one of my plane spotting bucket list trips that I would love to do someday. In the not too distant future, of course. Why does... Okay. Why does this keep changing? See, I'm wanting ultimate performance. See, that's... But it doesn't stay. I have to change it back every single time. For some weird reason. One thing I forgot to do is I forgot to over here. Once I got running. Let's see, SPAD, GSX, ACARS, OBS, Afterburner, got my external storage, task manager, SymLink, CPU, GPU, and Windows Security are running. Okay. All right, there we go. I don't know why I keep having to see power settings keep reverting back to, yeah, I know, new Microsoft Edge. Like that at all, did you? And Wifey has entered the chat. Hello, my darling. How is your movie going down there? Windows 11. Power. Settings. Revert. No, was it? Oh, I bet. Okay. Windows 11 power plant keeps changing itself from alternate performance to... Okay, I enabled ultimate performance power plan using the command line technique Windows 11. However, I select it every time I go back and it's reset. And ultimate all times anyway to keep switching it back. Now there's a whole thing on trying to diagnose why the power plan resets. I'm just going to have to bookmark it and check it out later. I don't have the time or day to worry about it right now. It's like 211 knots is our max airspeed at 16,000 feet in the Embraer 120. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'll have to check into the power thing a little bit later. Next flight after Cold Bay, we'll be heading down to Dutch Harbor. And anybody who's familiar with the Discovery Channel and the TV program The Deadliest Catch will know all about Dutch Harbor. That's where all the crabbing vessels are based at. And Dutch Harbor was also one of our destinations in the 20th anniversary round the world trip from last year. And I flew that flight in FSX almost a year ago, flying in the Convair 580 in the North Central Airlines livery, and I have yet to find one that is compatible with prepared version 5. So any future around the world trips, I'm going to have to find a different aircraft to fly. Every couple months or so, I kind of hop online and search for one. There's a classic Convair website out there that does flight simulation models of the Convair, and that's where I got my original one done. And back when I was heavy into doing my own repaints, I did all the badging and stuff for all the round-the-world trips that I took the plane on over the last 20 years or so, and now I can't use it. Which really sucks, because the Convair is the first aircraft that I ever flew on as a child, with North Central Airlines flying out of Traverse City, Cherry Capital Airport, down to Cleveland. I was just an infant back then, and I remember Mom and Dad flying us down to our grandparents in Cleveland for Christmas, and have just always loved the airplane and always loved the airline. And I need to start working on my little project of putting in I have a couple of old schedules from right before North Central became Republic. And was wanting to get one of the last flight schedules for North Central, convert that into data and put it up on our Virtual Pilots Union database in case anybody else wanted to fly it. I wonder if just I want to turn off the hard disk. Never. Let's try that. My opinion on beans. Beans, the musical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. So let's have beans for every meal. So I'm all about beans. How are you doing, Nebulation? Welcome to the live stream. Hey, trust me, I'm not a big fan of beans either. I just remembered the song as a kid. We're doing pretty good this early evening. 6:30 out here on the East Coast here in Atlanta. Not really looking forward to the beginning of the work week, but since I work from home, it's not such a big deal, so we're doing great. Heading down to Cold Bay, Alaska from Anchorage. Taking the scenic route, so we'll catch some of the mountains and overfly a little bit of the ocean. Got about 90 minutes left in the flight. I am actually my fiance's caregiver. She is disabled, so there's a program through the state of Georgia where I get paid to basically take care of her, which is what I have been doing for the last 13 years anyways, but now I get paid for it, and I can enjoy a job where I don't have to go out and drive around in crazy traffic, and gives me a little extra time to work on my YouTube channel and get out and do some plane spotting and photography and other stuff like that. Taking my other half shopping, anything that she wants to do. So yeah, pretty nice. We got a whole bunch of nieces and nephews, and a couple of them are into the baseball activities, and they're doing all their practices, and season starts up in a few months. Oh, sweet. Born in Anchorage. I've overflown Alaska many times during my travels in the military and flights to Japan and Thailand, so we can always overfly Alaska on the way over across the Pacific, and have yet to actually set foot in Alaska. So Anchorage is one of my bucket list trips. I would love to do some plane spotting over there one of these days. So do you also do flight simulation as well, or? Ah, sweet. I have a pretty good system that runs prepared version 5.4, but not quite enough where I can run Flight Simulator 2020. Not that I haven't tried. I actually have. And just kind of gave up on it for the time being until I get a even more powerful system and graphics card. Yeah, having a really good graphics card is the key. You know, you've got these people with the RTX 4070s, 4080s, 4090s. And I've got a 3070 Ti, which is perfect for prepared version 5 and even better for when I was using FSX and FSX Steam Edition. Yeah, I had a 3060. So this is a crazy story. So I bought a the system that I have right now that I'm currently using is a pre-built through Micro Center, and it's a pretty high-end machine, even though it's got a 3070 Ti. And you can go on the channel, go on my YouTube channel, somewhere in there are my system specs. But I had, prior to that, I had a Lenovo that had a 3060, an RTX 3060, and it was a POS. It kept randomly shutting off, or no, not randomly shutting off, it would randomly go into sleep mode. I would literally be working on something, as long as I was active and doing something, whether it was my early live streaming, editing photos, browsing the internet, as long as I was there and active, didn't have a problem with the computer. If I got up and left the man cave for not even 5 minutes, I would come back and the computer had gone into sleep mode. And it turned out to be a flaw somewhere in the hardware. And Micro Center couldn't figure out what it was. Lenovo could not figure out what it was. And everybody tried to blame everybody else. Lenovo would try to say, oh, it's a Windows issue. You need to contact Microsoft. Microsoft said, no, nothing wrong with Windows. Go back and talk to Lenovo. And I finally got fed up and contacted Micro Center and talked to somebody. I basically traded it. I traded the lemon in and got the system that I'm using now, which is much better. And then it turns out that during one of the couple of times that I took the machine down to Micro Center to let them do a diagnostic on it, I found out that another person who had the identical rig was having the exact same problem that I was, except he kept taking it back and taking it back. He wasn't able to figure out the connection, that it was just that the computer was just a piece of shit. But talking to the service tech director at Micro Center, he goes, oh yeah, these Lenovos are just garbage. And trust me when I tell you, you're not the first one to have this issue with this particular computer. And he told me about the other guy and all that, and it's like, okay, well, I'd like to return this lemon, and went and picked out the one that I currently have. and have not had an issue since then. So I am very, very happy. So I've been flying with Prepared for oh god, Frank and I were talking about this yesterday when Frank was in the live chat. August or September of last year, I think I finally took the dive into Lockheed Martin's Prepared and tried it out and just went, whoa, this is a huge step up from FSX, even though they're basically kind of the same, other than the fact that Lockheed Martin compiled it into a 64-bit program and not the 32-bit program that FSX is. And as a result of that, you're able to use all of the VRAM on the graphics card as opposed to FSX where you're locked to only 2 gigs of VRAM. Oh man, bad fan causing overheating. That stinks. All of my recent computers are all water cooled, so not that I'm opposed to fan cooling of a CPU, but you always want to make sure that, you know, I don't know, my original gaming system that I bought literally 12 years ago, I still use. It's my second computer. I just do some editing and stuff on that for photos, but it's liquid cooled and I've never had to service the cooling system at all. And is still running strong. I got rid of the I got a solid state drive. I upgraded it with some more RAM. There was only so much that I could do with it because it was 12 years old. But I got a solid state hard drive and upgraded the RAM and allowed me to go ahead and run Windows 10. And it's a pretty quick computer for something that's 12 years old. And believe it or else, I've got Flight Simulator 2004 on it. And I get frame rates in the low hundreds on that. There's a total throwback right there to the good old days. Literally a 20-year-old flight simulator program, and I still hop on it every once and again and just kind of peter around. But when you look at it and then you look at something like Flight Simulator 2020 or even the latest version of Prepared and just see all the differences, it's like, wow. So I definitely like flying in Prepared. My big hang-up for flight sim flying was it took me all this time to finally get comfortable with a 3D cockpit. I don't know what my aversion to 3D cockpit flying is, because I've always flown with a 2D cockpit in the past and made the decision to start using 3D cockpits just because it's just more realistic. So I just kind of practiced and all that, and I very rarely use the 2D cockpit anymore. Favorites. The 757. I've got an A330-900 Neo is another favorite to fly, and the 737-800 are probably the three planes that I fly more than anything. Yeah, the always smiling plane, that's right. So I mainly fly Delta flights. So the majority of my live streams are Delta, a few FedEx thrown in. Today we're flying this Alaska Cargo Express. Since Delta does not have any direct flights out of Anchorage down to Cold Bay or Dutch Harbor, which is going to be our next destination after Cold Bay. And the A350-900 for my super long haul stuff. Whenever I do a really long haul flight, but I have all of the aircraft Delta currently has in their inventory except for the A319. I don't have that. So for my Airbuses, I've got an A222, A220-300, A320, A321. I have a 321 Neo, but it's not in Delta colors. I need to take an afternoon and do a repaint so I can have a 321 Neo. And then I've got A330-200, 300, 900, A350. That's all the Airbus, and then for the Boeings, I've got 717, 737-800, 900, 757-200, and a 300, 767-3 and 400. Even though Delta's retired the 777s, I have a 777 that I still fly once in a while because the Delta 777s were probably my favorite aircraft in the fleet. And then I've got, I think that's it for the Boeings. 717, 73, 75, 76, 777. 747s have been retired for years. It'll be 4 years this October since they retired the 777s. So, yeah, quite a few. So I have the whole Delta fleet in my inventory. So, if I need to repaint, I forgot which livery I've got in the 321 Neo, but I've done repaints before, so should be a simple. And then I want to take so the tail number of my A330-900 is 411. And I want 404. 404 DX is the tail number, and I want 411, which is the Team USA. So one of these days I'll sit down and I'll repaint and put the Team USA livery. But now Delta has two A330-900s that are done up in Team USA. There's 411 Delta X-ray, and I forgot the other tail number. Not that they ever fly to Atlanta where I can catch them. But I figure at some point one of them will come home to roost and I'll be able to zoom down there and get some shots. Yeah, definitely we can hope. Alright, in case you're joining the live stream, welcome aboard. My name is Michael. This is the Sky's Limit Aviation Channel. This is Alaska Cargo Express Flight 69. 6 passengers and some cargo heading down to Cold Bay, Alaska from Anchorage. About a 2-hour, 15-minute flight, and we've got about an hour and 13 minutes left to go. Cruising along at 211 knots at 16,000 feet on a 222 heading currently. About to pass over the King Salmon VOR Alpha Kilo November. Hey Frank, welcome back, sir. And thank you, Nebulation. I am told that quite often that I have a voice for radio. I definitely do not have a face for television. Before I got into caregiving for the better half, I worked in the medical field for 15 years, and that was after I got out of the Air Force, and handled switchboard operations for one of the larger doctor's offices that we had. I was in oncology. And then went from the clinical side to the administrative side. So everybody always complimented my voice when they called and stuff like that. And I don't know that I could actually get on the radio and talk to hundreds of thousands of listeners. I get nervous just talking to a couple of people on a live chat on YouTube, much less getting on a big radio station like WSB AM down here in Atlanta and talking to millions of people every day. I don't know that I could do it. I mean, technically you don't see them, you're just behind a microphone and they're in a car or at home. I always call the wifey my better half. Technically we're not married, we're engaged, but it's easier for wifey to call me her boyfriend because of her cerebral palsy. She does have a little bit of a speech impairment, and she just says it's easier for her to say boyfriend than husband or fiance. But we've been together for 13 years, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah, practice for my new career. Yeah, I could do. Not that I barely have enough time to do my YouTube channel, much less. Oh, hey, Michael, here's an idea for you. How about do a podcast? Not that I haven't thought about it, but oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Nebulation said that he would listen if I had a podcast. Maybe I should give that some thought. It would definitely be aviation related, so I don't know how many. I'd have to check and see how many aviation podcasts there are out there, and then I'd have to find my niche somewhere within that realm of podcasting. Like what's not being talked about. I think I know probably one of the most popular topics in aviation would be aviation accidents and incidents. And I'm sure there's a couple of good podcasts out there, so it'd be a matter of, well, what would I do, you know? What can Michael bring to the table? You know, or what kind of unique perspective could I give to that niche of aviation podcasts? There's a really good flight simulator podcast out there, and I listen to them when I can, and they're based out of the UK. And the name of them defeats me right now. It's God, I have to look them up on Twitter. It's so I gotta hop on Twitter and look it up now. It's not Airline Geeks, it is... Oh, the Departure Lounge. So not only do they do plane spotting, they also live stream some of their flight simulator stuff. But they're based out of the UK, so... But on Twitter they are at the DEP Lounge, and they have a Facebook page also called the Departure Lounge, and on YouTube it's also the Departure Lounge. Stay away from stay away from social media. I have my YouTube, I have my Twitter, my Facebook, Discord, and my Instagram. My Instagram is mainly all of my aviation photography. YouTube is my live stream and standalone videos for flight simulation, plane spotting, photo editing. Twitter, I just go on there and screw around. I don't post a heck of a lot of anything there anymore. Facebook, just keeping in touch with friends and family, and there's a local aviation photography page that I'm part of, and a couple of flight sim pages. Let's see, TDS, which that's one of the Facebook pages is TDS. They're the ones that make the A350 model that I fly in Prepared, and then there is Sky Spirit, who does the 763 and the, I don't remember if they do the 777 or not. I think they mainly do the 763. And the FSX page and the Prepared page on Facebook I follow, and that's about it. That's about the extent of my social media. Discord channel, not really much activity on the Discord channel, only because there's probably not even 10 of us in there. Frank being the newest member of the Discord channel, but I figure as I get higher up in subscribers, when I get closer to that 1,000 mark, somewhere down the road, that more people will kind of head on over to the Discord and stuff like that. So and hoping at some point to collab with a couple of fellow live streamers, mainly on VATSIM. Thank you for joining the Discord. Oh, there we go. Now I have 10 members. Well, there you go. You just made double digits. Thank you, sir. But one of these days, I'd love to collab with a couple of... I know Frank has his own YouTube channel. And a couple of other people who drop in the live chat every once in a while are usually live streaming. Love to set up maybe a group flight somewhere. Just pick a night where we're all online and do a group flight someplace on VATSIM would be really nice. So there's an overhead panel here in this 3D thing. I don't know if VATSIM merges the games together or... Oh, well, yeah, it does, because everybody connects through a common program, vPilot. So you could technically, even though it's against their terms of service to... It's not like you can go over and, here, let's everybody get on 123.45 and we'll all just chat, because if you're in an area where there's air traffic control, a lot of people don't have... A lot of the flight simulator aircraft don't have combined COM1, COM2 capability. So it's not like you can monitor COM2 if your group is going to chat amongst themselves on a common channel, and then up on COM1, let's say you're in Atlanta Center's airspace, so you know you got to keep them in case they issue instructions to you. And so I notice a lot of people... I mean, I'm just a small channel. I only have 367 subscribers. I would imagine once I get up closer to the 1,000 mark where I'm monetizing or whatever, if and when I ever get to that point, you know, everybody can hop on, you know, Discord, and you can do the chatting on Discord. Oh, I know, it takes time. It's not like I'm in some big anxious hurry to get to 1,000 subscribers. I mean, I am amazed and am very blessed, thank you, dear Lord, that my channel just has kind of a steady climb of subscribers. It wasn't that long ago, towards the end of the year, I was just hitting the 300 mark, and here we are at the end of February, and I'm getting fairly close to 300 and closing in on 400. So it's just a matter of time. Yesterday's live stream had the most views just during the time that I streamed it than my previous live stream got in views over the course of an entire week. So it's really timing, knowing when to get online and stream. It's hard. Weekends, as long as the wife and I are not busy with family activities. We do have 11 nieces and nephews, and they're all on her side of the family. She has a huge family. I've got a small family. It's my mom, my dad, my sister, and myself, and a few aunts and some cousins. But the wife's side of the family is extensive. She has 5 brothers and 1 sister, and we have 11 nieces and nephews between all of them and their wives. So when the weather starts getting nicer and they're out doing outdoor stuff, we'll definitely be out there with them. So usually late afternoon, early evenings is where you'll find me live streaming. And sometimes during the middle of the week, if we don't have anything going on, and I can go knock out a short flight or something like that, then you'll find me. But as far as a set schedule, I really don't have a set schedule. I know other content creators do. So it might be something to, think about at some point in the future when we get higher in the subscriber numbers. Actually have some dedicated times where this is when I'll be on here. It does take a lot of I know a lot of people who come in and view the live stream, you know, they don't know what it takes to put, you know, the effort that it takes to get ready to do this. So when I'm flying my Delta flights, they're all real world flights that oh yeah, definitely school breaks and on weekends. Really late. I've had a couple of live streams where I've gone kind of late into the night and have actually had quite a few people hop in on the live stream. It's been pretty crazy. But I mainly fly Delta mainstream. I do the schedule for my virtual airline, so I actually download the SkyTeam master flight schedule and extract all of the Delta airlines and the regionals out of that, and then format them onto an Excel spreadsheet, and then run a whole bunch of macros that I custom wrote that sort the data and stuff like that, and then puts it into a format where we upload it onto our website server for our virtual pilots union. And then you just go and book the flights. Thank you. I appreciate that. Debilation says I am impressive. I've always been one of those people who I'm pretty tech savvy, but I'm kind of self-learned. I didn't go taking any classes or courses or anything like that to, you know, learn all my Excel skills. It's just a lot of trial and error and watching a few YouTube videos to see how they write macros and asking a lot and asking questions. There's a couple of Excel forums that I'm a member of, and once in a blue moon I'll get stumped with something when I'm trying to write a macro, and it's like, oh, okay, I need a little bit of help here with this. And the people who are way more impressive than I am usually have an answer and give it to me, and then I just integrate it into my macro. But the hardest part is getting all the, for example, for Delta Airlines, there are literally, like if I pull up, so here's our pilot union. Actually, just let me go to the administrative page. So I had this up last night. So here's my section here. So these are all the airlines that I do. So between Delta, mainline Delta, and the regionals, there are nearly 10,000 active flights. So I go and have to pull that data. I have to pull, and it's usually, so 10,000 flights is just the end result. So I get my information off of the SkyTeam website and download the master schedule, which has all the flight schedules for all the members of SkyTeam. So we're talking Air France and Delta and, you know, all the SkyTeam members, and I have to go find everything that's DL which is how Delta's listed on there, and then I have to find those sections and I have to pull that data out, basically copying it out of the PDF and putting it into the spreadsheet to begin with, because I've tried to convert the PDF over into a spreadsheet and it's literally impossible to do. So I have to copy and paste it. That takes the most time. So the average SkyTeam PDF file is nearly 14,000 pages. So I have to go through 14,000 pages of PDF broken into 50-page increments, pull the flight schedules, get them into Excel. Then I have to, the first thing I do is, there's a lot of sorting of information, so I have to sort it by effective dates, and then delete all the old data, because you really want like the most 30 days worth of updates, because SkyTeam publishes their master PDF quarterly. So there's four schedules a year, and you want the most latest expiring data to have all the current flights. And then once you've done all the sorting, then you separate out the regional from the main line, and then I have to convert the city pairs into their ICAO codes, which is another macro that I have to sort everything. I have to put everything in different columns, sort all that out, and then run a macro for the ICAO codes, so it converts the city pairs into the correct airport codes. And then I've got to convert since you have flights that run daily and flights that might only run every other day or once a week or twice a week. I don't have that much patience either, but I do it anyways. I am a man of little patience. But it takes about a week to get all the data out of the PDF, and then after that it takes me about 3 or 4 hours to do all the sorting, separation, run in the macros to rename, to have the correct airports, and stuff like that. Now, luckily, I only update the schedule once a year, and I've already done it. I already did it back in November of last year. So what I do in the meantime is when Delta removes a flight from active service, I just go and search for that particular flight in the schedule and delete it off of the website. And if Delta adds new routes, then I go ahead and just do a little tiny spreadsheet, usually a CSV file, which is the format that we have to upload them into the database, and there's different columns for whatever. So actually, let's get out of here. Alright, so okay, so here's the whole SkyTeam thing broke down. It's 10,054 pages. So pull that up, and then I go through and sort through, and of course I basically go in here and go and look for DL, and we've got some matches, so just go and okay, so here's some Delta flights. They're operated by WestJet, so I'm not going to use those because WestJet and Delta are code-share partners, so even though it's a Delta flight, it's run by WestJet. So we just keep going until we find something that's mainstream Delta. Here we go. Oop, right. Where was it? Here we go. So here's Aberdeen to Minneapolis, and this is one of the regionals because it's a CRJ. So basically I would take this and copy it, and then I would put it in all 2023 master schedule. So here's what the spreadsheet looks like, and this is after I have gone and pulled the data, and it's all based on the effective date. So I look at the latest effective date will be the current flight that I use. So then I basically sort everything by pairs, have to convert the departure and arrival times into 24-hour time, airline, flight number, aircraft type, frequency. So all is a 7-day flight. X6 is every day except Friday. Sunday would be 1, Monday would be 2, Tuesday would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 being Saturday. So X6 is all 7 days of the week except Saturday. And then this one would be excluding Sunday, which is 1, Friday, and Saturday. So I have to convert, because in the spreadsheet itself, it'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I have to go, okay, that's all 7 days, that's going to be all of them. For here, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So 6 is excluded, so I have to go, okay, that's X6. And then this one would be 2, 3, 4, 5. So X167. So I have a macro that converts all these values into all of these values. And then once I get everything here, here's all of there's basically 30,865 flights, and that's out of all the data that I've pulled off the PDF. So then you've got duplicates. Yeah, I do it all by hand, entering it in here, and then I go and I run my I have macros. Where's my macros at? I haven't been in here in a while, so. But I have macros that I run that do all the converting and stuff like that. So, but once I get all the flights extracted, I usually have about 30,000 or so. A lot of these are going to be duplicates and stuff like that, so I have to sort through and get those all out. And then once I'm done, it's whittled down to, that's just a duplicate of that because I'm doing something else. So, and then this is like my regional, these are the regional flights, and then that's just a duplicate of that, and then headers, just some miscellaneous crap. And once I get done with that, I have to convert it into a CSV file to upload it onto our server So, and then it's kind of a similar format to the macro web sheet. And then I can only put, I think I can only put 500, how many flights can I put on here at one time? I upload them in 1,000 flight batches. So you figure 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 some odd flights. And then my regionals are on 2 spreadsheets, and then I upload all those onto, so I go to our thing, go to my admin page, and I'm going to upload flights, and then I would just go choose my CSV file, start to upload. It tells me if there's any errors that I have to fix. If there's no errors, it just uploads. And then I make sure I delete the old, outdated flights out. So, but yeah, that takes about 6 or 7 days to get all the flights out of this 10,000 page PDF, and then onto a spreadsheet. And then it takes me about 4 or 5 hours to do all the sorting, and then I just upload it. And I do that once a year, and then periodically, usually every month, I'll add any updates. Like I was saying a little bit ago, if Delta adds flights to a particular schedule or whatnot, then I add those. Or if they end service to a city pairing, then I go ahead and just delete those off there to keep everything current. But all the flights on the website. Yeah, you're welcome to. It's airsource.us, air with a dash between it and source. But we're the only virtual pilots union out there, and we have 1,200 airlines that we have in our database. Probably 75% of them are updated on a fairly regular basis. Like here's all the recently updated airlines and scheduled stuff and stuff like that. We're always looking for new people. We've had let's see, four new pilots joined in February, 5 in January, so we're growing pretty steadily. So here's all the pilots currently flying. There's 3 of us. But to show you the flights, so just go to our scheduled division, and let's say here I want to just pull up all the flights for Delta. Just do a search, and there's all 3,261 flights currently in the database. And yeah, there's a little glitch where some of the images don't show up, but this is an example. These are all the Delta flights that I worked on over time, and that's how I find all my stuff. And then we've got a forum page where we kind of chat with one another and stuff like that. So yeah, come join us. airsource.us or air-source.us. And getting fairly close to our top of descent. About who knows? If I were to reckon a guess, probably about another 80, 75, 80 nautical miles to top of descent. We really do not have any, there's not really a published arrival into Cold Bay. But there is on the RNAV, so we'll go ahead and plug in the numbers. 3,000 at Deads, 1,800 at Django, Katra is technically 760 feet, but we can't enter anything lower than that, so we'll just leave it at 1,000. We'll hand fly it in since we're going to be on the visual. So that's the only restrictions that we're probably going to run into on the way down. And even though I'm not running the weather engine as part of the checklist, I will still pull up the weather for the arrival airport. So PADC or PACD. Papa Alpha Charlie Delta. Alright, Cold Bay information, 32 minutes old. Winds 140 at 26, gusting to 36. Temperature 1, dew point -1. 10 miles visibility. Few clouds at 1,400, overcast at 19. Light snow and rain. Altimeter, if we were running the weather engine, is going to be 29 or 9 or 6. So, top of descent checklist, ATIS information, airport weather, check. Altimeter, check. 29906, radios and nav, check. Fuel quantity, check. Anti-ice descent speed as required. Top of descent checklist is complete once we get around to it. It may take a few minutes to get the email. Of course, I've been with them for 22 years, and I forgot how long it took till I got the email. So you'll get it, trust me. Oh, you want to sign into Navigraph. Yes. Yeah, successfully close this window. Yay. There we go. Forgot I had to change my password and yeah, about 30 minutes out from arrival. Overlay our Navigraph chart so you can see where we are on our course. I use Cytec, so I've got a Cytec yoke, rudder pedals, throttle, autopilot, switch panel, and radio panel. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Cytec devices. Back when Cytec was still Cytec, now they're Logitech. And I use a VATSIM cockpit rig that everything sits in. So I've got a chair and I've got 3 monitors. So I have a 32 as my center and 2 27s on the left and right side. Of my center monitor. So my right monitor runs my OBS, the left monitor is VATSIM, vPilot, Navigraph, my ACARS for air source, weather engine, all that stuff. About 70 miles from top of descent. So I used to have the little Cytec MIP gauges, but at the time I did not realize that you could not use them on Flight Sim 2004. That's how long I've had my Cytec gear. I've had my Cytec gear for ever. About, I think I bought it all in 2011. So I got the little MIP gauges, and I was stupid at the time. I didn't know that they work on FSX, but they don't work on FS 2004, and I bought 6 of them at, I think they were $79.99 a piece back in the day. I forgot how much they are now. And plugged them in, realized I couldn't use them, and I sold them on eBay and made more money back on than what I paid for them. So that was a good, that turned out to be a win-win. Yeah, master scammer. And then I went through this phase where it's like, oh, well, hey, I have all this Cytec stuff to operate my lights and my radio and my autopilot and all that stuff. It's like, Yeah, this 2D panel is kind of boring. So I made a small overlay panel that sat in the bottom fifth of the screen down here. Welcome back, Frank. And to change the cockpit views in Flight Sim 2004 and FSX, you just hit the W button and you cycle through the 2D, the 3D, and then you have like an outside view with no panel, and I just made my own little custom panel that just had just a couple of basic gauges, and that's how I flew. And then I got kind of tired of doing that, so I went back to the 2D panel. But I found in FSX, you really can't adjust your view out the cockpit window, not like you can in the 3D cockpit. So I would fly in the 2D cockpit and then hit W and get there we go. Oh, you can actually do it in here. So this is the view that I would use to land. Because I literally couldn't see over the cockpit. And then when I got prepared back in August of last year, it's like, well, you know what? And then I was really starting to live stream heavily. It's like, well, maybe I need to start learning how to use the 3D cockpit. So I did just a lot of practice flights offline, not on VATSIM, just short little flights here and there, just to practice, and got used to the 3D cockpit and just use it in conjunction with my SciTech stuff. And I've been flying in the 3D cockpit ever since then, although I do have a couple of aircraft in my Delta fleet that don't have an operating a good 3D cockpit. Like my A320 doesn't have one. It looks really, none of the panels work or something. I don't know why. I think it's something in the model, because the MDL is integrated with the virtual cockpit and how it perceives it in the flight simulator environment. There's just something wrong with the MDL or something. So I have to fly 2D cockpit when I'm flying my A320 and one other aircraft. I don't remember which one it is. I think it's my 717. But other than that, I enjoy flying in the 3D cockpit, and I fly in it really now. And because I use an FMS, to get into the FMS or to really turn on LNAV and VNAV, I would have to bounce over to the 2D cockpit where I had the buttons integrated. And I got tired of doing that. It's like, well, there's got to be a better way to do it. So I created just a small panel called FMS buttons, and it just brings up, so I could pull up my FMS, I could engage my VNAV and LNAV, bring up my overhead panel. This particular aircraft doesn't have an overhead panel. Bring up my throttle and my radio panel, which is really all I need. So now I don't have to bounce into the 2D cockpit anymore. Ah, you've got to go. Ah, you're going to miss my lousy landing. No, I promise I'll butter the landing. And if you caught yesterday's live stream, we had a go around. and executed the go-around perfectly. Came back around for a second try at the apple and buttered the landing. Some airports and air traffic controllers I have a problem with because I prefer kind of a long, well, not a super long downwind, but a long enough downwind where I can set up my approach to the runway. And that can be really hard to do when you've got, you know, especially, don't get me wrong, I love my Atlanta air traffic controllers, especially the arrival and departure guys and the tower and all that, but the arrival controllers in Atlanta, they don't do it realistically like it's done in real life down at Hartsfield. And probably because in real life, Atlanta is the world's busiest airport, so you can get a lot of aircraft stacked that are coming into land, and they will put them on a little bit of a longer downwind, and maybe I'm just used to seeing that in real life. And they'll literally maybe cut that downwind in half and then have me turn heading of 180 to go south if I'm arriving on the north side of the airport. So I'll be going due east on a 90-degree heading, right turn to 180, and then they'll have me come around to like a 230 heading to intercept the localizer. And if I'm not at the right altitude coming down to catch the localizer, it just makes it a little bit harder for me to nail a good landing. I'm usually dive bombing it in. Not that I haven't seen it done in real life. Going down to the airport and plane spotting, I've seen quite a few planes, usually on a 5-mile final, and it's like, damn, you're way too high, you're not going to make the runway, you're going to wind up going around. And somehow they managed to do it. But, you know, real life and flight simulator, while they're pretty realistic, some of the aspects of how the aircraft handle in flight simulator are just really unrealistic. So you have to find that little bit of a balance, but I prefer a little bit of a longer downwind, especially flying into Atlanta. LAX is easy because it's literally a big, long final, no matter where you're coming in from. And the way that the approaches are set up going into LAX, it's easy. But Atlanta, where they will change the pattern multiple times a day, from east ops to west ops and back to east ops, and sometimes they'll change the pattern 2 or 3 times in a matter of 90 minutes. And how they handle that is just absolutely amazing. And we're going to go ahead and start heading down. All right, Nebulation, thanks for dropping in. And you enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a great week. And hopefully see you again soon on another live stream. Out of 14,000 for 6,000 feet. No other air traffic around us right now. Starting our descent into Cold Bay if you're just joining the live stream. Going in on runway 15. Landing south. Yeah, we'll come in on runway 15 and basically take it all the way down to, let's see, taxiway Charlie, which is right before you hit runway 8/26, and left turn over to the ramp from there.
Sync rate.
Take it for screwing around with the LNAV and the VNAV. Alright, I'm gonna step off the flight deck really quick as we approach 6,000 feet. And I will be back in just a couple seconds for the landing. I'll be right back, guys. All right, we are back on the flight deck. Level at 6,000 feet on approach into Cold Bay. Landing lights coming on. Approach checklist, seatbelt signs on, no smoking signs on. Avionics radios are set, speeds per our discretion, landing lights on. We'll kick in some flaps as we make the turn to final. Approach checklist is complete. Sending down to 3,000 out of 6. And leveling off at 3. Yeah, we'll go ahead and LNAV off.
$2,500.
And 147 will be our final approach heading. Got the field in sight. Slightly right of the runway. Gear coming down. right on the glide slope. Flaps full. Yaw dampers coming off.
1,000.
Cold Bay traffic, Alaska Cargo Express 65, short final, runway 15, Cold Bay
500.
traffic.
Good luck.
400.
Thank you.
300. 100. Minimums 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
And we are down. And taxi down to Charlie. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cold Bay, Alaska. And Charlie coming up here on our left. Landing lights off, strobes off, taxi lights on. Cold Bay traffic, Alaska Air Express 65, clear for runway 15 at Charlie, heading to general aviation. Cold Bay traffic. And good luck getting into Dutch Harbor when you get down there.
Thank you very much.
That's my next flight. from Coal Bay down down to where you're heading. Flaps coming up. Parking brake set. Taxi lights off, nav lights off, de-ice, pitot heat off. Engines off, props feathered. It's -1 and this guy is out here in short sleeves. Oh my goodness.
Passengers bus is coming.
I need to adjust the cargo door there. And let's see. And flight PIREP. Flight complete. Flight plan. And use the there we go, right there. Yeah, about two and a half hours. Not too bad. And Coal Bay will be our next flight.
Crew bus is coming.
Transponder mode C turned off. Really? 2 flight attendants on a small Embraer Brasilia? 3. Really? 4. 4 flight attendants for 6 passengers. Oh my goodness. And the pilots are too tall. Their heads are sticking out of the roof of the plane. Oh well. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to do it for tonight's live stream. I really appreciate you stopping by, checking things out. Shout out to Nebulation, my good friend Frank, and to my better half for hopping on the live chat today and keeping me company. If you enjoyed tonight's live stream, hit that like button, support the channel by subscribing, and let your friends and family know about the channel. We'll really appreciate it. Y'all have a great week upcoming. Next flight will be Cold Bay down to Dutch Harbor. Until then, this is Michael with Sky's Limit Aviation Channel, wishing you a wonderful rest of your Sunday evening. Have a great week, and we'll see you again soon for the next live stream. Bye-bye for now.